Yeah, yeah,
Bow, bow. No, I'm
yeah,
just kidding.
yeah. They mad because we enjoy our intro. You know what I'm saying? Y'all just
Okay.
don't know. We be jamming. Hey, welcome to Perspective. Hey, everybody. Wonderful Thursday to you all. And let me just go ahead and put out my own personal little disclaimer. If I get a little giddy, there's a good reason why. And also, I may I may revert back to probably about, 15, 16, well, 16, 17 years old throughout the show. Y'all will just have to figure out why, because we have a guest coming on. And we're going
Special
to talk
guest.
a special guest, absolutely. And so we'll get a little bit more into that. But as we always do, we're going to talk about the most important things and really our mission. And so, welcome to Perspective. And the really the foundation and premise of our platform is found right there in the name, Perspective. This is a safe place, safe tree, if you will. It's a place to discuss different topics of a wide variety, and share different opinions, different ideas, different lived experiences, without feeling like you're going to get chastised about it. We feel like that people have different ideas, perspectives, opinions, and it's not that one is either right or wrong. It really, the thing is, you just find that your opinion may be one thing, someone else's may have a different opinion. Doesn't mean you're wrong and they're right, or they're right and you're wrong. It simply means that they're different. And when we can discuss our differences, I would say in a more mature, effective way, it actually brings us closer together. And when we become closer together, we have a better understanding of one another, and that strengthens our community, and ultimately that will strengthen our world. And that is what we aim to do here on Perspective. And so we welcome you to be here. I'm going to say definitely comment. We want to know what your ideas are, your opinions, your lived experiences, because you never know what you're sharing may enlighten someone. It may actually free someone, and it may actually help someone. So never shy away from doing that. And we like to get active in our comments, a comment section. With that being said, I am Eric Butler, aka the Intellect, aka Cullinan 8, because I'm the biggest diamond ever found on land, aka the Atlantic, because I'm cold, deep, and choppy, and it ain't nothing nobody can do about it. I'm a father. I'm in the corporate recruiting space, been doing that for about 20 years. It has led me into a lot of different areas. I sit on the board of a financial literacy nonprofit called the Empower Series. That has led me into an opportunity to do some consulting, some career consulting, talking with a lot of people, and ultimately has led me into the space that I'm sitting here today. And the reason it's so special that I'm sitting here today because I have a co-host of co-host, unmatched, often imitated, never duplicated. They run at her,
Oh,
but they can't run through her. I'm just going to tell you. So, with that being said, I'm going to pass the mic and let my co-host introduce themselves.
hello, hello, everyone. Thank you so much for being here. I am super excited that you are here with us on this wonderful Thursday because I recognize that you could have been literally anywhere else. So, my name is Latoya. I'm a licensed professional counselor, aka Chef Jeff's wife, aka them kids mama. I am a author, speaker, and a podcaster. I have an audio only podcast called Say More About That. It's on Spotify,
Mhm.
Apple, Google, Podbean, all the places. And I'm super excited about being here tonight.
And Doc, what's the title of that book?
The
Or book?
Wife's Guide to Beating the Side Chick. It is available at latoyathetherapist.com and also on amazon.com.
Indeed, indeed. And now, I mentioned earlier that we have a guest. So I'm going to share a few details about them before we bring them to the stage. Perspective is about to we're about to experience some things. So definitely tune in, stay with us, comment, and ask your questions. You'll know why I said that. I'm going to start out by just sharing a little bit about them. They have a 30 plus year healthcare. They are a 30-year plus healthcare professional. 10 of which were working with juveniles and the adult population in correctional facilities, 20 years in an emergency room setting. And then also they're a mother of four adult daughters. They are a grand and a great grandmother. Currently, they are a member of the Fabulous Five. This is a group of five women from very humble backgrounds, but who are now business owners, managers, and nurses. They all started with a vocational training and have expanded their education up to the PhD level. So there's a doctor in the group. Keep that in mind. They started in a vocational training and have expanded their education up to the PhD level. In that group, um, and they award scholarships to local students based on essay results. So these individuals who started in the community and also impact the community. And I would go farther and say raise the community. And so, with that being said, they also, and I asked, and we asked our guests a few questions. And so we wanted to get some unique insights about them that we could share with the group, kind of get you prepared for what you might be receiving. And the answers did not fail. So when I asked about some insights about our topic, as you can see that scroll in the banner, they said the educated make more money and usually better life choices than those without. And all education is not academic. Vocational skills or slash education also counts. And so, with that, you ask, hey, are there any other insights, any additional information that you would like to be shared? And I got one line: don't ask me nothing you don't want my honest answer to. And with that being said, Perspective is excited and we're honored uh, to welcome to the stage Miss Lynn.
Hi.
Hey, Miss
Good
Lynn.
evening.
Hi.
Glad
Hey,
to
so
be
we
here.
absolutely, absolutely. Um, I'm almost. I just want to tell everybody. Let me say this. In her bio, some things that she did not include is that she is also like a miracle worker. This is somebody who has saved my life like 3 times. I just want to share that. So when we talk about someone who is a medical person, they have diagnosed over the phone accurately, just with verbal description. This, it feel like this is in this area, and this is what you need to do. And if you don't, and then you get to the hospital and they just repeat what she said. I've been watching this show called The Resident, and I was like, Miss Lynn could be on there. So that's my little. I just had to share that little story right there. I ain't gonna tell y'all
Thank you.
everything. Yes, but with that being said, Doc, the title for tonight and the discussion, and this was spearheaded off of some general conversation. Um, Black parenting. Yeah, we went ahead and said it just like that. Black parenting, academics and career. Did we drop the ball?
So let me give a disclaimer. I am a therapist, not your therapist, unless we have paperwork and a payment method in place. Miss Lynn is a healthcare professional. She is not your healthcare professional, unless y'all got some type of arrangement. Okay. We are speaking from our education, our experience, conversations that we have had. We are not talking about you specifically, and we understand that there will always be an outlier to every situation. We are talking about the overall general public, and we are sharing our own perspectives. We are not talking about our personal everyday lives unless we specifically say this happened to me in my personal life. Nobody called us and told us your business. Nobody called us and told us your child's GPA. We're just having a conversation. We're all sharing our perspectives. And before we get started, let's catch the comments up and
All
we'll go.
right. Tiffany Downing. Hey, how you doing, class? What's going on? So
Hey,
she said,
Tiff.
oh, there it is. There it is. She said, I'm so glad to have found you all, and we're glad that you're
We're
here.
glad to have
So,
you.
and thank you for getting in the comment section. And hey, Alexis Butler, that's my baby bird right there. She said, hello, lovely people. And she's
Hey,
talking to y'all in the comment section too.
she is. She's
Yes,
talking to me
absolutely.
specifically, though.
Indeed, indeed, indeed. Mr. J. Gilliard,
I
Mr.
guess
J.
he's talking to
Gilliard,
you specifically.
Mr. Yeah, he said, welcome and good evening. Mr. J. Gilliard, then y'all heard about, she said, Chef Jeff's wife. You see that J in front of the Gilliard? Yeah, that's that right there. That's that right
My
there.
man, my man, my man.
Yes, and because he also has a podcast.
He does.
It's called This Dope Cooking Show,
Mm-hmm.
Tuesdays at 5:30 on the BS3 network. You can go to YouTube to This Dope Cooking Show and
All
check
one
that out.
word.
All one word. Check that out. I'm just telling you now. Don't you ain't got to tell nobody you can't cook, and you know your chicken is bland. Just go pop on there, check it out, and he'll help you out.
He will.
Tiffany Downing says Miss Cheryl is the real deal. Indeed,
We are
indeed,
happy to have her here.
indeed. Oh, very happy. Yeah, I'm trying to keep it. I'm trying to keep it
I
contained.
know, like you never just happy to show up to talk to me. I'm feeling away. We've been doing this for like what, a year now? You
Yeah,
never
I'm
just
gonna keep
getting
it
to
at
show
bay,
up
man.
to
No,
talk
I'm
to me.
serious. We could take the whole hour, man. I could just give you story after story of
No,
insight.
sir. No,
Yeah, I
sir.
know. I'm
No,
just
sir.
saying it will
Thank
be
you.
easy. It will be easy. It will be easy. So, um, back to the question and the topic of the hour: Black parenting, academics, and career. Did we drop the ball? In the in our insights, Miss Lynn kind of responded and she made a statement. She said the educated make more money and usually better life choices than those without, and that all education is not academic. Vocational skills and education also counts. Um, and I'll hand the mic over. Either one of you can respond, but to your statement, Miss Lynn, is there anything you would like to add to start the conversation?
Yes, the home should be a learning center. Well, it is a learning center. You, as a parent, decide what is learned in your home. Your first education comes from your home. Before anybody teaches you anything, before kindergarten, before daycare, you learn at home. I learned to cook from my mom at home. I learned to cuss from my mom at home. So those things you get initially from home. It starts there.
Doc?
I just appreciate that she said all education is not like formal education or not like classroom education, and vocational education is important as well, because I will never forget. I had finished my master's degree. I had my first therapist job, and my friend that took some kind of certificate, and she was working at T-Mobile, and her salary was so much bigger than mine. And so I think it's important to know that like everything doesn't have to be college. There are
Right.
other forms of education, and that is what really stuck out to me.
Talk, Doc. Talk, Doc. Did y'all hear that? Everything does not have to be college. Now I do I have a degree? Maybe, maybe not. Uh, yeah, I do. But I'm gonna tell you this. I feel like our formal education system, it has a place, but where we have placed it within our community, I think it's been inflated. It doesn't always equate to higher salary. It doesn't equate to the things that you really are wanting to do. When it comes to education and career, I think we miss the boat because we do not take the time, and I'm talking about parents, to really identify the strengths, the areas of improvement that our children need, and most importantly, where their intrinsic and natural gifts lie, and then cultivate those into an area or a direction that can be monetized, which would be better.
I think I struggle with that because, so my personal experience, I feel like my daughter is wonderful at social media, and if she had just stuck with it, she could have done that
Hmm.
easily off the top, right? But she didn't want to. She had a web series called Buoyant Black Media. She did over 100 episodes, like, or maybe a TikTok series. I don't know. I don't know. She had something. It was amazing. Whatever.
Right.
But she didn't want to do that, right? So I was like, well, what is it that you want to do? Because we got to do something. And so because she didn't have a plan, she's going to college. I mean, she's excelling at college, she's doing well there, whatever. But I think that we can see it in our child. We can point them in the direction, but you can't make them do something that they don't want to do.
Yeah, I
Yeah, I
totally
mean,
agree. I see so many parents now with the sports arena. Your child's not going to NFL because he don't run football. He's not going to the NBA because he can dribble basketball. Let him have something that's academic or vocational to back that up. Because how many people go to NFL? How many go to the NBA? Very, very, very few. But
Very
these
few.
yes.
they spend so much time with their sports activities versus their academic. They know what how their stats on the field, but don't know their GPA in school. Don't know what
Mm.
they're failing in school. Don't know what class they take. Don't know the teachers. No, they don't coach though. Or what they could about my son get playing time. See your son get a time on that computer in that computer lab. How about that? You know about that part of his life.
Mm-hmm.
Right. No
Yeah,
facts. That's facts.
yeah, yeah. And I do, and the interesting thing about that is sports was very integral in my life. It definitely it afforded me an education, but the thing about it is that it's really a tool. And it's a dual thing. Now that may be a whole nother discussion because as important education is, I don't, being an athlete, I enjoyed it. I loved it. I didn't create the system. And I think the problem is putting too much emphasis just on the sports because if you can't read, you can't count. If you and most importantly, if you can't learn, and I think that's the most important thing that's missed out of education is the process of learning how to look at information, calculate information, so that if you do end up going to the NBA or the league or at any level where you're making money, can you manage it? Can you implement it? Can you take it and turn it into a business and not get all your money stolen from you because you know how to read a financial spreadsheet? So, or understanding financial, the being financial literate in the first place. So that's why I think the education portion is there. I always think about balance, and you can't put the emphasis on sports. And you're hearing this from someone who put like sports was a major part of my career or my life. So, Doc, did you go ahead, Doc?
I do. So the thing that I like about sports, or the thing that I wish more people focused on with sports, is that that gives you the social and emotional learning that sometimes athletes would miss out on. Like when you are losing with a group of people, y'all got to learn how to figure out how to keep playing and not turn on each other and not allow your emotions to get the best of you. I've been at soccer games with my daughter where like people, where one of the girls walked off the field, like put her book bag on and was like, I just like whatever, I'm sick of this. You got to learn how to be in social situations where the heat is on. So I do appreciate that about the sports. It also teaches discipline and it teaches consistency. And I think sometimes we miss that when we just thinking about like scoring a goal or making a touchdown.
Yeah,
And like Eric said about balance, I have a daughter that is an educator, and she has more children in her classroom who are in sports like Little League or Pee Wee, and they have to go to those football games. The stands are full of people. PTA meeting is five parents.
yeah,
So they don't care what's happening in the school system. They more concerned what's on the field. It happens a whole lot. Then there's child is failing. Well, you didn't tell me. Well, you didn't ask me either.
Mm.
ain't check. Which that's a great comment, and that leads us to um my question, and this is out to the well, let me read the comments. Alexis Butler says exactly. It's so many risks with sports too. Your career can end at any time with an injury. Absolutely. So can't just be all brawn and no brains. Tiffany Downing, she clapping. She said, "My son was a star QB, quarterback for those who are maybe athletically illiterate, but tore his knee up his senior year because I pushed academics. He still received a full academic ride and graduated from UNT last Saturday.
Oh, congratulations.
Congratulations to him.
Yes.
That's a
Absolutely.
big deal.
Yeah, that's
Congratulations.
fist pump. That's
Yeah.
boom. You know what I'm talking about? Congratulations, Tiffany. Excellent job, Mom. So that's an example of why. That's an immediate example of why the balance is necessary, and And also, I think it translates onto the field. You say you want to be a great athlete, then you need to be a great
Example,
thinker.
Tiffany made her home a learning center. He learned those things
Absolutely.
that were important in his home. So your home
Indeed.
should be a learning center.
Indeed. Indeed. And I'll say this, because I was gonna ask, like, I are black parents leaving it up to the schools?
Not at my house.
Um, I would say yes, they are.
Yep. They are.
Yes. I've had people tell me, I'm not a teacher. My child goes to school. That's the teacher's job. Well,
What?
little Bam Bam came in school crazy. So he came from home crazy. She can't fix that at school in 7 hours.
Right.
But they expect the teacher to be a miracle worker. You know your children. If your child is slow or on the spectrum, accept that. He's not going to be a genius. He's learning how he can learn. When he gets his classroom work, come home and better being reinforced. But they
Mm.
come home and go outside and play or play PlayStation, whatever they're doing. They want the teacher to make everything right within 5 days. It's not going to happen. They
Absolutely.
need reinforcement.
Yeah, I do. I mean, I agree. I have teacher friends, and the kids are struggling, and COVID did not help it. It
Nope.
made it worse. People was cheating their way through. Now they don't. Now they don't know what to do. And yeah, so I do think that people are leaving too much to the teachers. I think the teacher's job is to teach, like introduce the information, because we don't have textbooks at our house, right? But I do agree, as a parent, it's your responsibility. If you see little Bam Bam is struggling, like get a tutor, get a YouTube video, do something. And I feel like that extra piece, that at home nurturing, that
Well,
reinforcement
yes.
missing.
That
Yes.
part. That part. And when we're talking about, Miss Lynn mentioned that your home is an education center. And I think education is just not about the A, B's, and C's and one, twos, and threes. It's about how do you process information, about knowing how to instilling the habits, because that's where that starts at home, understanding how to deal, how to learn, how to take information and apply it to yourself, to be able to sit down somewhere to do that, or to find interesting ways. You need to identify that about your child. Okay, they may have to sit for 30 minutes, do the work, and then you let them walk around and do something else, and
Yep.
then sit down again. Or you may have a child that they just do not need to be disturbed, and if you can give them that space. And so identifying those things, that is a part of the education process. So you can set your child up to be successful when they do go into the standardized education area and system. Alexis Butler says, I love to see it. Congratulations to him. And you too. Parents are the backbone. Mr. J. Gilliard said, yes, congratulations. And Ben Sutter the third says, good evening.
Good
Shout
evening,
out to Ben
sir.
Sutter the third. Yeah, he puts the BS3 in the BS3 network. So fearless leader right there. Appreciate you. Alexis Butler says, home should be a learning center. Quote, home should be a learning center, end quote.
Yes.
Tiffany Downing says, not at mine either, Doc. And
I know
Ben
that's
Sutter the third said, parents are the original teachers. Mm-hmm. Mr. J. Gilliard said, she's so straightforward. I love it. Yes, no chasers. Alexis Butler says, speaking facts, Miss Lynn, 100. Tiffany Downing says, right. It's about life. Mhm. And yeah, you have to, I think you start there, and then you send your children into the environment they don't know how to manage that area. Because if you've been to school, you know what's going to be expected. You can set up schedules. You know how to set boundaries with your children. And also, if you know they're going to go in an area where, okay, we know it's going to be reading and arithmetic, why not introduce it to them early? Why not get them prepared to be successful in that system? But I think that in our community, far too many parents just kind of send their kids willy nilly, unprepared, and just let them fend for themselves. And that's the sad part. Ben Sutter third says education is teaching your child to be a good citizen in society and handle day to day.
I'm with that because that handle day to day part, like that is a skill. You have to teach them something because life comes at you very quickly. I also want to say I'm not sure that parents have the knowledge or the capacity to do some of the things that you were saying. Like it sounds easy to us, like set up systems, make it a
True.
learning center. This child need a break every 15 minutes. This child need to be left alone. I don't know that all parents have that information. I did a brief stint working with children, and it's never the children, it's always the parents. Like
Mm.
little Bam Bam will sit down if you tell him to, but then little Bam Bam mama come in and you like, oh, this is what's happening. So we make it sound so easy. I'm not sure that they all know.
Yeah.
I think I've seen parents come to the ER with a child. Okay, we have these pool stations for like fire for the fire department in some of the lobbies. So this young man was a patient. Mom brought him in. He was running, hopping, skipping, jumping, turning cartwheels. Turn out. I said, "Ma'am, that's dangerous. This is the ER. You get him to sit down." And she looked at me like I was talking foreign language. So I told him, "Sit your little tail down." He went and sat down. That's all it took. So 5 minutes later, he up again and went and pulled the fire thing. Doors started
No.
locking down, gates came down,
No.
and she said, I'm like, are you for real? You saw him doing that. She never said on her phone. This is what she's doing the whole time. I could have kidnapped him. He could have gone down the street. She was paying
Mm,
no attention. None at all. So I'm sure his home life is not structured. He wasn't structured in public. So there you go.
Man, I wish I
He'll be
had
in school doing the same things, being disruptive,
right,
being unattentive, and all that stuff. She'll say, well, why am my baby failing?
right.
You're failing him, mama. That's why he's failing.
you failing him, mama and daddy. I don't want to stir up one side or the other. Because
Okay,
they'll
don't
come
get
in here.
me
Well, where the
started
daddy? The reason the mama can't because, and that's a whole nother.
Yeah,
But no,
that's a
no,
whole
you
nother
know what?
talk
No,
show.
yeah, man. But I ain't scared. I ain't scared. I promise you, I ain't scared. Listen, I know it's hard, but I'm gonna tell you something. Write this quote down. It ain't no easy way to do a hard thing. So you got to do it hard. Excuses are the tools of incompetence. Those that use them suddenly amount to anything. So I don't care. I ain't gonna say I do care, but man, find a way. Ask for some help. That's why the community is important. Go to someone else. Get together. Quit being too proud. Admit this is the thing. Accountability and being self-aware. Like Miss Lynn said, you know your child got behavior issues. You know something going on. Get you some help so that they can be better than you. Period. Point
But
blank.
they get offended when you tell them a child something. They get offended.
And,
Everybody's not normal person, whatever normal is. Some
yeah.
people have disabilities in one area and excel in others. Accept your child for who they are and what
Yes.
they're capable of doing. I've
Yes.
got one
And
child, damn near brilliant. She didn't go do anything paperwork wise, math wise. And I've got
don't
one
matter.
who's her compassion, so she's a minister now. Everybody has their own gifts.
Hmm.
Expand upon your gifts,
Mhm, mhm.
So
and you should know your
so
children.
yes. And so let me read the comments. Tiffany Downey says they expect the teachers to do it all. That's yeah.
And they
And it's
do.
only so
Yeah.
much that they can do.
True.
Like it's
Yeah,
40 kids in a class. Like they can't. What you want them to
and then
do?
they have behavior problems. They're not sitting down. They don't listen, and you ain't got no backup because you can't call the mama. Because I around my
Oh, you
generation,
can call her. She ain't home.
the last of my
Don't answer.
generation, the
Exactly.
mama and the mamas that do answer, they get on the teacher.
They
So
do.
and nobody got time to be doing that. Now we got kids fighting teachers and just I'm like it's ridiculous. I was in the education system for about 2 years, so I was a teacher's aide and a coach, right? And I couldn't do it. I couldn't. I, I I said no. I'm going to get sued. I'm going to get the district sued. Something's going to happen because
Something bad.
I'm not doing it. It
I
was
have
just let.
never considered working with children. I think FTK, I'm not doing them
Yes,
kids because
yes.
they are ridiculous. And the
Listen.
parent.
Oh, that's that. And I'm telling you, I had all the things y'all done seen on TikTok, and I have had that experience. It was at a 2 year span. I'm protecting a child. Had a player, he's hurt, he's begging, he wants to play, wouldn't let him play. I said, I can't do it, man. I can't. I can't. And his dad, after the game, came up in my face wanting to fight me. Oh, it took out. I'm glad we had multiple coaches because they had to hold me. Because I used to tell them, I used to tell the kids, I said, I ain't got nothing, no way. Sue me. As a matter of fact, I said, I went to school with your uncle. I already know you. They know I ain't doing you wrong. Well, man, I had a teacher grab me when I was in Dallas. Well, this ain't Dallas and I ain't that teacher. What you're not finna do is talk to me crazy. I don't care. And then you got the fast little girls. Ain't nobody teaching them right. You know what I'm saying? So when we talk about the parents, like black parenting, when it comes to education, like you can't even get them socially prepared to come in the environment. And I ain't saying that you having trouble studying, but just being a decent, manageable citizen, as Mr. Ben Sutter III said. I'm talking about scary situations. Young girls who in junior high, hey, Mr. Butler. I said, get on. I'd holler at him. I was not going to be that teacher.
But
I'm not
I worked
gonna
in
be that
juvenile
teacher.
also on correction. I would have the children in juvenile. I have one of both parents sometime and grandparents in the big jail. So the ones in juvenile want to try to get smart and want to tell me, I'll slap your face. I'll tell the little girl, I don't care about the job. You smell like onions in the first place. Your mom and dad across the street over there, they already jacked up. I'll be with your mom and daddy. So hit me if you want to.
Y'all listen, I just got to put this out here, y'all. This is not a game. This is not some weekend thing. This is
No.
not her out here. Just this is what y'all getting. I'm telling you. This is I've seen it live in Memorex in real life. Go Oh, this is wonderful. Anyway, Tiffany Downing says, I work in ISS. I know what that is. For
Mhm.
4 years at Hershey. No other words. That's why I just,
Enough said. Yes.
man, enough said. Ooh, man. Like I've seen some, like, and then, I don't, the education system itself, we'll definitely get to that. But y'all had mentioned about assessing gifts. Miss Lynn said assessing the gifts and the talents. And that's what this show is for. Doc said, I'm not sure people are equipped with the skills to do so. Well, if you're watching this, share this with anybody, everybody. Listen, someone is right in the right position right now. Let me look directly in the camera. Someone is in a position. Your child is in that stage and area. Sit down, pay attention to your child. If you don't think you have the skills, that there's no excuses. We got TikTok, you got AI, you have access to all the information to get some sense of idea of how can I assess this with my child and prepare them to be better. If they listen, don't nobody know you like you. You know if your child bad, you know if you've been lazy, you know if you hadn't given any guidance or direction, and you know if you ain't had none and you don't know. Man, get it. Hey, humble yourself. I'm telling you, pride precedes destruction. So don't do that. And
But
believe
like
me,
Doc was saying, they
I've
don't have
tough.
the skill sometimes. Like you said, ask somebody. You know
Yes,
what your shortcomings are. And just
yes,
ask somebody.
yeah, yeah. Quit being embarrassed, man. I'm telling you, the greatest strength a person can have is humility. Humble yourself. It will grow you immediately, and you'll come to find that the thing that you think is embarrassing about you, no one thinks that. Only
Right.
you, and you're holding yourself back. Um, but I think that to me, that's a very important thing about assessing your children's talents and gifts, and man, give them an opportunity to do that. Let them, and I mean, sports. You think they're a good athlete? Okay, do that. But also, what kind of academic or cognitive gifts do they have? Do they read? Do you see them playing with a certain something? If you see they're very they always trying to take something apart, then that's an engineering. If they like building and stacking things, that's architecture. And your children, very in that early ages, Doc may be able to clarify this. I think from the time they're born to 6, man, they're almost like little geniuses. Like their brains can teach them a foreign language, get them a toy that teaches them another language. Do something. You can do better, and it's easy when they're young. And it's just in our community, we do not take advantages of the things that are around. If you see who's doing this, is I'm gonna tell you, this is a plan of mine. I look at who's doing what I would like to do. How would I like my situation to look? How would I like my children to function academically? Who is doing that? Okay, what are those individuals doing? Be it the parents or that culture. Okay, let me find out what they're doing, and I'm going to copy. Then I'm going to put some seasoning on it because that's what black people do because it's got to taste good. That's a I'm making an analogy so y'all know we'll put our little seasoning on it, and by the time we're done
Exactly.
with it, we will be awesome. You see what I'm saying? So you have to get out of your little embarrassment box, step out into the sunlight, and man, let's get our community and our children on the right path. And they can recover very quickly if you be disciplined, put some structure, and put that information in some systems in place with their gifts and their talents. So I'm challenging whoever's hearing this. I know it may be picking at you. If you feel some type of way, yes, we're talking to you. We love you, but it's let's go ahead and get that done. And then I'll say this, I'll put it out there. Contact me. I'll help you find the information. And I ain't gonna talk about you ain't got to worry about that.
But
Um,
Eric, sometimes people don't want the truth. They want you to soft soap it, go around the corner. Some kids are not college material. That's what that
that's
is. We're trying to get your child to go to college. He's gonna fail. Okay. He's
great,
not
great
he or
seg,
she's not ready for that. They reading on
great
a third
segue.
grade level and they're barely doing that. Accept who your child is. If they need to go to vocational or go something gonna be with their hands and manual, let them do that. But don't assume your child is all college material because everybody ain't.
After I read this, that's a great segue, Miss Lynn. Um, let me read the comments. Tiffany Downey says, grandson almost 4, fluent in Spanish since 19 months old. Talk about it. Come on now. And y'all now she's in education, so obviously she's seen some things, and she know like let me take advantage of these things. Reads, writes, solves math problems, and so much more. It starts early, early, early.
Yes.
Everything. Listen, if you want to be rich, if you want your child to be rich, you can start putting $2 up early into a compound interest bearing account. By the time they 18, you ain't got to worry about nothing. You need to be consistent and disciplined and keep letting it compound. Somebody, listen, write this down. Compound interest. Go look it up and learn something. Period. Point blank. That comes from, I ain't gonna say. See, I was finna sound funny, but I'm gonna chill out because I get a little crunk about this. Um, so the great segue you talked about. Um, you just mentioned educate. Everybody's not equipped to go into college, right? So let's expand on that because I think in our community, it's like going to college is the ultimate goal, and it's looked at as the only goal.
Exactly.
So what? And you mentioned, and I think, and now I understand why you put that in your bio. You said um, because I know the Fabulous Five, they come from very humble
We all
backgrounds.
of us started vocational, each and every one
Boom.
of us. All of us did.
Let's expand on that. When you talk about vocational, what are you meaning?
LVN programs, cosmetology programs. None of us got right out of went to college initially. So we all got our start vocationally, and we just built upon it.
I love it. Anything now? Because you know me, I'll go off. The thing I love about that, and here's someone, and this is what I've learned over time, um, or what has come to mind to me. Think about before there was this structured education system, colleges and things of that nature. How did people learn? Starts with an A, ends with an E. Apprenticeship. The person that learned it before you shadow them, you follow them, they teach you, and then you become good at it. That's vocational. It's like go learn the thing. And when we're talking about vocational jobs, we're talking about plumbers, carpenters, builders. Um, I would even say those that have cleaning businesses, construction, things that fall in that, and then even those higher level vocations, nursing. I think you have to do like you can't. I don't. And even this, even if you become a doctor, you can't become a doctor without going through the vocational portion of it. That's what you got to go follow a doctor. You got to go
Internship.
practice it first. Internships. That's what you got to do. So that is. So if someone says, "Hey, man, college," because I'll say it, college, hated it, hate,
Loved it.
hated. Look, hated it,
I loved it.
Oh, I hated school too.
hated it.
I
And I
loved
and I look, but now I'm at an age where we got a lot more information. Man, just structured educational system. That is not my way to learn. It's just not. It just isn't. Doesn't make it good or bad, right or wrong. It would just is. And my way of learning was different because when I really figured that out, like instead of reading the book, if I listen to the book, I'm better. I discovered in college, man, quit trying to take these notes because one, I'm gonna try to write down every dang word, and that's not, and I'm missing stuff. But if I sit there and listen to this professor talk, I can regurgitate the information better and then go back and think about it and write certain key points. And and then I would pass. And I had to learn it on my own. Um, so y'all can just understand. I'm gonna be honest. I only got 1A all through all through college. English was the course. My English professor was like, "Hey, you got that." I was like, "Yeah, what can I do about this science and this math though?" You know what I'm talking about? Hated that too. But anyway, Alexis Butler says, hated it. Tiffany Downey said, same. So, and a lot of that has to do with you understanding your child. And then, because we have to go through the system, right? You can't bypass it totally. So we have to structure ourselves, found out how can we be successful within that system. You can't win the game of life playing by Candyland rules. So you know the rules of it, find out how you can play best in it and do so. So that's a challenge to people to kind of figure out what is your learning style. Take your
So,
child to the
Doc,
doctor.
why do you like school so much? What was your process
Okay,
like
good
in school?
question.
I'm
Good
good
question.
at it.
Right? Good question.
I
Miss Lee.
hated it. I didn't like none of my
I'm,
teachers.
I'm
I didn't like
good.
nobody.
I can pass a test. I can retain
And then
information,
some people like,
and I like
listen,
to read.
I
I'm
do. I
I
would have
did well
never.
in school. If I could watch you speak for the lecture, I could play it back in my head. I didn't take on any notes. If I watch you and watch your mouth move, I retain by my memory,
Mm.
and I would take the information in, feed it back, take my. I did well in school. I just didn't like to be there, pretty much.
So I loved it. I didn't like high
Um,
school. High school was not fun for me, but I love my master's program, especially like learning about something that you're into. I didn't necessarily appreciate all those general education classes, get my undergraduate degree,
well, that's probably what I'm talking about
but
too, Latoya. That's I am.
I like to learn, and I learn better if it's like you teach me something and then I go read something on the side. I like it.
Yeah, because and I mean this has been scientifically proven. People learn differently when they have different learning styles and whatnot, and that's not taken into consideration in our education system currently, right? So it's not these different ways. Now I think if you can't learn the way that they have it structured, then they send you the resource, or you be on the and when you if on the blue hall if it's any
The blue ball, that is
it,
great.
now, if there's any Huskies out there, they know what I'm talking about, or something like that. And the sad thing about it is those individuals really don't belong on the blue hall. Now, it may be some now, because some might be on the spectrum. They got some things going on.
You're saying about the Blue Hall. My daughter, my oldest daughter, well, my second oldest daughter, when she was in the second grade, always been very smart. They called me in and said that she was remedial. So I said, this no, she's been
Almost.
reading since she was like 4 or 5. So and she was reading like books at that time. What's makes her remedial? They gave her a visual test. So it's cultural. It showed like filing and different things like that. She knew what it was. I said, I work outside the home, so does her dad. I don't file papers in my home. We don't have a home office. She wouldn't be aware of that type of situation. Ask her some Black home questions. You know, they based her level of learning and retaining on a white based test that she was
Talk about
exposed
it.
to.
Talk about it, Miss Lynn. I was being
So
nice, not the
parents need to be
system.
aware of what your child is being tested on also.
Yes. And it's been, and they've talked about this and covered this, that our educational system is culturally biased.
Very.
Not only that, I think they depend on us just receiving the information and not asking questions. I
Which
Yes.
is,
I think they just depend on somebody calling and saying your child is remedial. The parents saying, "Oh, okay, send them on the blue hall." They
Oh,
don't
no.
think we're gonna
Yeah.
challenge it, and they don't think we're gonna question it because so many of us don't.
and many times we don't. And that's not education. That's not, that's, I don't, to me, that's that pipeline to prison type stuff. Teach you how to sit down in this structured area. You need to hush, be quiet, and regurgitate the information I'm giving you. You're not being creative. You're not thinking outside of the box. I remember getting in trouble. I like efficiency because I want to hurry up and not be doing this. And if I figure out a way to get the right answer, because I hated long division. You know why? Because it was long and I hated the steps. So if I could do a little bit in my mind and be like, boom, okay, there's the answer, and it was right, the teacher wouldn't give me
No, they
credit
want to
because I
show
didn't
your
You
show.
work.
have to show your work.
Show
Oh,
your work.
man, show
Show
this
your work.
foot. Because I'm like, I got the right answer. And then I'd
Show
sit
your
down and
work.
do the long division and say, I know how to do that, but I didn't do that. I knew it was going to be this. So I just did this and this so I could get done.
So you want to do it your way.
Is the answer right?
You want to do it your way. They know what they ask you to do. They ask you to show long division. Follow directions. That's usually the key. Following directions.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah,
That's true.
pretty much.
Because in college they program you that way as well. But that's my gripe with the education system. Because here's the deal, I my girlfriend in high school um was like she didn't have to go. That's how smart, that's how smart she was. She didn't have to go. This was someone that should have been in college probably. They could have clipped out of everything, but they wouldn't let them. And I feel like that holds individuals back.
Mm.
And that holds individuals back. Because I've seen them I'm just like, I don't know. I don't know what's up with that alien. And I'll tell this one story. Because I didn't like math, and a lot of it is about mentality. So if you have experience not being great at something, you will convince yourself you're not good at it. And I had a Mrs. Babbitt. Shout out to Mrs. Babbitt. Um, um, she's passed on, but yeah, shout out to Miss Babbitt at Hershey High School. She kind of heard me. I said, Miss Babbitt, because I already got my scholarship. I'm going to college. I said, man, I don't know about it. I'm kind of nervous. She was like, you can do this. I know you can do this. So she would take, it was a period we had. And my girlfriend was in my period in my math class. And so she would take me in the resource room, like where the teacher's lounge or whatever. And I worked on statistics, calculus, I think college preparatory algebra. She was just showing me you could do this. And I think if I get individual instruction, I can follow the instructions, Miss Lee, and I wanted to go. I wanted to go play.
Mm-hmm.
So, but she showed me. She just broke that barrier for me, which was significant. But y'all thinking during your class period, she left. Y'all left, yeah. So who teaching the class, Eric? My girlfriend. Hey, would you Hey, you take over the class, and then I'm going with Eric. And
You
they
better not
younger
do
than me.
that now. Everybody getting
Man,
fired.
I'm just saying,
Exactly.
I've been around geniuses, and I've just seen that the education system itself is broken as well. So think
I think
about
all of our systems are broken because America.
so they get it from both sides. The parents ain't can, the system is jacked up. I feel bad. I feel worse for the teachers, man. Them the hardest working people, and I don't care what nobody say. It's crazy. We pay the most money.
But they're given a curriculum to follow, and everybody can't learn by that curriculum.
That's what I'm saying. You just said it more elegantly than I said.
Yeah.
When I say system, I mean the curriculum, like you just described. Perfect example. Why are you? It's culturally biased, and
Not
if
only
I don't,
that, some people just don't test well. If you give them a project to do, they can include all the elements, but that standardized test filling in the bubbles, that just doesn't work for
Yeah.
some people. And no,
but
they
think
don't take that into account. But there have been studies shown that like intelligence levels are different. So like I'm a therapist, I would schedule higher on like a counseling psychology therapy test. Whereas if you gave me a test on math, I may not score as high. Like
Right.
if you gave me a test on science, I'm definitely not scoring as high. Right. So there are different ways to test for intelligence that are not always available to people that look like us.
And here's the sad part. You know this, and I know they know this. Well, why is it not implemented in our educational
Well,
curriculum?
because well, I mean, I feel like the obvious answer is if you have a narrative in your mind about a group of people, you have to set it up so that your narrative is correct. If I give you the culturally responsible or the diverse test and you excel and these other kids don't, then now my narrative is incorrect.
Exactly.
Now, y'all have answered this, but I wanted to pose the question for the listeners because I was going to ask, what does higher education look like to you? And is it always a college degree? I think
Hold on,
we've made. Okay,
I
go
feel
ahead.
like we talked about that, but let's catch the comments up.
Okay, absolutely. Alexis Butler says, I had to put in extra effort and work to retain the information. And even then, I felt like the goalpost was moved a lot. Alexis Butler said, wow, the system is not set up for us at all. Alexis says, whenever y'all ready to pack up and cross some some borders, please let me know.
Not for
She said,
real.
I'm serious. It does make you want to be
For
like,
real.
I don't even
It
want to deal with
does.
y'all.
It
I don't
do.
even want to deal with y'all no more. And that's a sad thing. That's a sad thing. Because and what really agitates me the most is we're all sitting here and we know, we see it. It ain't no way that those that are the Secretary of Education and then below them the administrators and principals and people who are in that industry don't see it. Now I ain't talking about teachers and not even principals because they can't make that bigger impact. But these individuals who are setting up the curriculum, choosing the books in which and the topics and subjects in Florida, they won't even allow you to study about other cultures. It's ridiculous, and we see it's obvious,
Ridiculous.
and no one will
That
really
goes
say
back
something.
to your home being a learning center.
Boom, bring it back home, Miss Lynn. So that's even more imperative that us as a community, Black parents, need to take control of that. We got video. Okay, they like to watch video versus reading a book. Give them why let them watch some documentaries. It ain't got to be these dang I almost cuss these cartoons all the time. Dang a cartoon. A kid doesn't even know what's not entertaining or entertaining. You set the standard. Just because everybody else is letting their kids watch anything and everything doesn't mean you don't that you have to do that. Be mindful. I don't know a parent, and even these parents were saying that are not involved, they feel like they're stressed out because I get it. If you're a single parent, it's going to be tough. It's going to be hard. Um, but you have to check yourself and go get the resources and go another direction. Tiffany Downey says, I live in Florida and I'm so glad I don't have children in this education system. Absolutely.
Okay, like
Absolutely.
Doc, okay, in your field, how many women look like you in your field? If you go to a conference or to a meeting, how many people look like you?
Hold up.
Me and maybe two more, and that's a big conference. Like
Exactly.
so, like if I mean only 11% of counselors are black, so that's women and men. It's only 11%.
It shouldn't be a broke counselor in the country. It shouldn't be.
Well, you
And
would
yes,
think
I have sometimes been the only Black nurse in the ER at several facilities I've worked at. I have sometimes been in a small hospital, the only Black nurse at night in the hospital. I'm like, this is a damn clan meeting,
for
pretty
real,
much.
for real. But I think the beauty of now is that we have the opportunity. Well, I have the opportunity. I'll speak personally to seek out clinicians of color. Like there are groups for us. There are conferences specifically for us. There is training curriculum specifically for us. And so when I first started, it was none of that. And if it was, I didn't have any access.
Access to it, yes.
mm,
So Eric, in your field, how many people in your work, if you had to go into the office, how many people look like you? in the office?
that look like me.
Hmm.
Um, and we have a pretty big team. I'd say it's probably 3 to 1.
Hmm.
Um, we in the recruiting space there is we have some presence, and I would say definitely in HR we have some presence. Talent acquisition starts to you get a little
Dwindle
light.
down, huh?
Yeah,
It's kind of
get a little
light.
light.
But
Now
that's
when
probably
you
by design, talent acquisition. You are responsible for getting the talent. If you look like you gonna look for some talent that looks like you.
and that's been the case for quite some time. That's what, and this is a different topic, but that is the importance of having a strategic and a strategic and pointed DE&I initiative in your organization. Because I promise you, just through my experience, I have impacted to executive leaders who don't look like me, who probably had. I've experienced this, and this ain't long ago. An executive in a $80 billion company was like, I got on the elevator with him, and I know who he is. I seen him on ever. I was scared, and I would just looked at him. I'm like,
Wow.
and listen, it's a it's an implicit bias. He didn't even know he was being offensive, and it was embarrassing because this is at a function where we're teaching. I was teaching LinkedIn and how to LinkedIn about is a career consulting, but it's a group that we sponsor as a company that is a minority. It's young African Americans preparing to go to college and then entering into the workforce. And this middle-aged white man got up there and said that. And it was funny because I could see all their energy, like, faces, because we use our faces. And they were like, what? Like, why would you? Oh, big black man. And you didn't know who he was, and you were afraid.
Yeah.
I kind of cringed a little bit. I was like, boy, I tell you, has no idea. Has no idea. Yeah. But anyway, we have this is the thing, because we're about end of time. The doc, I know we don't have a hard stop, but I know we can't go too long. Here's the thing, and then I'm going to hush because it was some final things I just want to make sure that we cover because I think this is important conversation, and I really want to invoke and kind of impact people. I want to challenge some people to kind of make a change. Um, I'm not against our education. Being educated and learning is very important. Understanding the way that our process and business works where you are. We're in the United States. You need to understand the financial system. You need to understand capitalism. Our education system is what it is, so we need to understand what is required of it. And as Doc and Miss Lynn told me, Eric, they want the long division. You need to follow the instructions. So we know what the instructions are. Let's learn those things, but let's find ways that we can strengthen ourselves in that, because I think it's important to know that. Because if you don't know the weaponry, the ammunition in which the game in which you're playing, the pieces, then you're going to lose. So having a very strong educational base is important. Don't get me wrong, but know if it's your place to be. Know if you really have the chops to do it, or if you need to go the vocational route. It's that, to me, I think that's a smart direction. One, from financially, you don't have to incur all of the debt that you get. And here's another thing, and I'm a hush. This push with our community, everybody want to go to college. We talk about going to college, going to college, going to college. I'm challenging everyone in our community, parents, if you got children going, quit talking about going to college. Everything you talk about college, if your child is going that direction, talk about finishing college. Because too many of us go and we don't finish.
Exactly.
Finish.
I don't even know if I had that option.
Well, that's good because
Yeah,
hey,
I don't know that not finishing was ever an option for me and my brother.
that's good. No, that's
Like this
good.
whole like this concept of like you just go. I think to me, how my mama put it, like it was implied that go means graduate.
No,
I don't
and
even know
no,
that I
that is what they think. But I'm
Yeah,
talking about what you speaking out of your mouth because I'm looking at the results of it. It's
that's
too many
crazy.
that go and they don't finish. It's too many that go and they don't complete it.
Hmm.
But I think sometimes too that we as parents take our hands off our kids too soon. So as Black parents, the thing is 18, get out, blah, 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 blah. No, they're not ready yet. They're 18 and they're grown in number. They're not grown in mentality yet. So
Right.
sometimes we take our hands off our kids too soon. I mean, my kids are all over 40. I'm in their business today, every day, all day. They're my babies. I don't care what they say. I'm in their business. So that's what that is.
Ah, no shame, no shame.
None,
Ain't
not a
no,
bit.
hey, not at all, not at all. And Doc, I feel you on that. Doc said, I didn't even think that's why you finished. It wasn't even, but when you just talk, when you keep saying he went. Now, what about him finishing? Because you're going to
Well,
run into some
I kind of
issues.
feel a way about that too because if you go and you can't pick a major and you don't want to do it and you really want to work on cars or you really want to be a plumber, then don't graduate for
Don't
what?
even,
Go to the plumbing thing. But maybe you didn't
yes.
know that until you went to college.
Okay, that is
Yes, yeah, exactly.
that's good. That's good.
And when you decide you want to go your education route, I wanted to be a nurse from like 9 years old. That's all I ever wanted to do, be a nurse. I decided at 9 years old I wanted to be a nurse, and all my goals through school was to get to be a nurse. That's all I've ever wanted to do. That's all I've ever done as an adult. Has been a nurse. I haven't had any other jobs like that were meant anything anyway. I've always been a nurse.
I've always
That's
been a
it.
therapist.
Won't hit the comments. Really, Doc.
Mhm.
I'm gonna ask you about that when we come back. Alexis Butler says, clan meeting. Crying.
That's what it was. I felt like it.
No, for real.
You say 100 across the board. Come on, Miss Lynn. 100. Oh, okay, that's all over. All right. Doc, you say you always knew you wanted to be a therapist? That's
Well, I mean,
interesting.
there for a while there was like a doctor, princess, lawyer phase when I was younger, but after I like realized like what a career was and that the psychiatrist had to go to medical school and blah blah blah, because I originally wanted to be a psychiatrist, but I didn't want to go to medical school. So I've always known that I was going to be a therapist. My mama says I've been a therapist my whole life.
That's why it
Gotcha.
was easy for you. Some people have a niche that life is taking them towards, and they try to get out that water and go elsewhere. It's not going to work.
It never
You
worked.
are who you are. You start out like what Eric what he's doing now. He's always wanted to run something. He's always been kind of not say pushy, but had a big presence. So he needs to be knowing what he's doing.
That's fact.
Life will make room for your gift. It always does.
Yeah. Yeah. It will. Yeah, because I even in like being in talent acquisition and being a recruiter, it was really totally by accident. Really my passion was football. It's what I love to do. It's what I wanted to do, and I was great at it. Even when I wasn't really that good, I was better than most. And that's a whole different story. Y'all gonna have to buy the book. It's called 10 Pounds. Why I didn't go. I got as close to doing, completing my dream as anybody could get, and did not do it. But with that being said, at the end of the day, it was really all my fault, and things that I didn't do, and to get there. But and with the education system, but the beauty of it is, I end up really did I finished my degree, and within that process, I did find some things that I had passion in, because my idea was I was going to the NFL, then I was going to have a lot of money, and I wanted to be in business. My goal, so I was a RIM major, restaurant and hotel institutional management major, and I was going to own hotels and entertainment spots and things of that nature. That was the plan. But getting into talent acquisition, Miss Babbitt told me, she said, Eric, you need to be a social worker. You need to go into counseling or social worker. And I was like, how much they pay? Which was But ironically, right now, being a social worker, it's one of the top paying jobs that's going to be now and in the future. Everybody, listen. I'm in talent acquisitions. This is what I study. This is what I train. I pay attention. Listen to me. So that's a good feel. If you have that nature, you want to help people all the time. That'll be a good space for you. But with that, again, I'm not against education, but I really am for, let's be strategic about approaching it. Let's give our children the tools and the avenues, and it starts with you as the parents. Making sure you look at their gifts and their talents. Really be honest about whether your child is, if they are designed to go to college and be in that type of program and system. And it's getting better because you can do college different ways. You don't have to go and sit in the classroom. You can do it at your own pace. They have, and different things of that nature. So research and understand that, and ask for some damn help, please. If you ain't gonna do it for you, do it for them. Period. Doc.
We'll let Miss Lynn say her final words.
Okay.
Is the system broken? Is Black parents failing? Drop the ball. They dropped the ball, deflated the ball, set fire to the ball. The ball is just gone because we're not involved enough in our children's education. Know your child's teacher. Some people always say they don't like my child. Well, why don't like your child? Your child not wreaking havoc in the whole classroom every day. That's why I like your child. So spend time at the classroom sometime. Meet your child's teachers. Look at their work. A child doesn't fail a class, just fail a class all of a sudden. They're failing over a process of time. So if your child come home with an F, you wonder why they got an F? They had an F in 4 weeks progress, F in 6 weeks progress. Stay in your kid's business. And know what's going on.
Down. Write that down, y'all. Stay in your kid's business.
So my final thoughts are, I think that if you don't have the answer, there's nothing wrong with that. Go ahead and ask for help. You already know where you are in your life. And if you think that your children are going to be better than you, they have to do something different and they have to do something better. So humble yourself to get the help that you feel like you or your child needs. If you are still here with us, thank you so much. We absolutely appreciate it. We will be back here on next Thursday discussing something else. Do me a favor, like, comment, subscribe, share, tell a friend to tell another friend to tell a whole nother friend that Perspective is happening every Thursday at 8:30, and we are so appreciative.
Absolutely. Hey, we love y'all. Hey, y'all have a great rest of the evening. Have a wonderful weekend, and we thank you for being here. Miss Lee.
I enjoyed you guys.
Thank you so much for being
here.
You're
welcome.
We appreciate it. Hopefully you'll come back. And I'm pretty sure folks are going to
I work I work 7 days on, 7 days off. So I'll try to catch you guys. I can probably watch next week between trying to work. But anyway, I'll be at work next Thursday.
Yeah, we love it when you pop up. We good
we
when
love
you
it
come.
When you come to the comments.
Absolutely. I know people are going to be like, when Miss Lynn coming back on? I don't know if that's the voice they'll say it in, but that's just what thank you. Hey, everyone.
Exactly.
We love y'all. We love y'all. We'll see y'all next week on Perspective.
All right, bye.